Hello, fellow watchers and enjoyers. It is I, Piggy, and I am joined by Ash.
Hello.
If you've seen the reactions, not the one that just came out, that is week 1, but if you've, when you're going to see week 2's reactions, we've dubbed it Chipgate because Ash for about 20 minutes was eating chips. But he generally they looked fantastic, and I'm not
They were
dissing them.
delicious. They were absolutely delicious. I kind of have that rule where I don't ever, I tend to never eat on videos, but for members only. So, wait, no, that one's going out for members.
But
So all you lovely legends just get to indulge in me eating chips.
just
and feel
side
jealous.
note, what I do love, because I've brought it up to Ash, what I do love is because obviously if you see us eating, you know that I eat like on camera, but Ash it just goes, oh, and it sometimes looks like if you angle the camera correctly, you know what? Not gonna.
Look, no one's catching me in a compromised position.
No one's gonna catch in sucking at Lizzie, with Lizzie. So yeah, it's episode.
Unless I leak it.
They've caught him sticking a hot dog up his ass, folks. What will we do? But it's week 2 of 1985. I know it's not actually week 2, but it's the week 2 of EastEnders. And we're going to cover all the biggest storylines or takeaways from week 2 of 1985. All the episodes from the 26th to the 2nd, all the way to the 28th. I don't know why I thought this year was a leap year. A leap year only happens every 4 years, and I'd assume the last leap year would have been 1984. So, or maybe it's
it's hardly happened in 85.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I need to figure out when the leap year was. But anyways, so what are the topics? Maybe with the intro, what I'm doing right now. We have Tony Carpenter arrives. I'll probably spell his name wrong, so I will get Ash to correct me afterwards. I have Caorpeortener. I think I spelled it wrong. But anyways, the investigation begins. Beale the Teenager, Lofty Gate. Then with the thoughts and awards, we want your questions. I'm going to change that to comments, readouts. I will change that in a minute. And then we have members shout out, because this is for the members for the classic podcast. So are you ready, Ash?
Ready.
Yeah, let me just very quickly pause. I'm going to change something and then I'll resume in a second. So yeah, we're back. So yeah, where am I going to begin? Well, I'm going to begin with Tony Carpenter. Now, Tony's a nice man. He's a big friendly giant, I would say. Would you say so, Ash? I know you don't really do these.
I love him.
Yeah, like when we look at current crop of characters of 1985, Nick is a wronging. Den, don't really need to like explain Den. Everyone knows what's wrong with Den and what he later does in the show, that is. Yeah, and then we have Tony, who's just a nice bloke. He's just a big fat guy. That's all he really is. He's just a big fat guy. And he's jolly. He's a jolly fat guy. That's all I got to say about him. He's a nice mustache, lovely hat. I'm trying not to say his race, because if I say his race, it might come across racist. But just so people are if you're confused, he's a big, jolly, fat, black guy. There you go. I know that might sound wrong. That is literally what he is. He's just a wholesome guy. He's your neighbor who gives you sugar. In whatever way you wanted to.
He's got a little bit of a. He does have some problems, does he? He's not really the best dad. He's not really the best husband. But he's just a cool guy.
See what I love is, right, we talk about him as the character and then we go, let's look at Tony Carpenter's actor's Twitter. Okay, maybe we shouldn't have. As you know, everyone from 1985 is probably problematic. But yes, so Tony arrives. The investigator, who we will go to after this topic, he's not racist towards Tony, but he's like, get that fucking junk out of here.
A little bit. Yeah, so Tony arrives. Tony, for context, has bought one of the houses.
Mhm.
It's along the side of the street where like Gray's house or the New Mitchells. I don't remember exactly whose flat it is necessarily, because I do have the Soaps autism. I don't have the fucking who lives where on Albert Square autism. You know what I mean? But he's doing up that side of the house. He bought it, first and foremost. Just kind of, he's clearly doing well. I mean, even then, especially during the 80s. I mean, building was a trade that was fucking booming. So, so it's kind of like a decent chunk of change, even though it doesn't, mostly just because it was dangerous as fuck, but still decent chunk of change. Um, I think, all in all, I think it's kind of, I don't look, Tony is, he's a little romantic at heart. And he just wants things to be out in the open and simple, really. And so he's doing up the flat. Obviously, right now it's fucking derelict, and he has to properly do it up. But yeah, the Inspector Rich, he's not being a racist, but I mean, he wasn't that rude with anybody else. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, he says, "Yeah, clean this shit up. It's fucking looks gross." And it's like, you've talked to Nick Cotton, and you were nicer to him. Like, fucking hell.
It's just,
Um,
yeah, I don't mean I'm obviously I'm never like we're never going to like depict anyone like of color or anything. Like, if it's, as long as they're nice. But like he literally racially profiles and like, pick this shit up, you fucker. It's like you literally had a literal Nazi in Nick Cotton. Spoiler: Nick does become a Nazi in the show.
yes.
So you literally are speaking to him, but it's fucking Tony Carpenter. That's the problem. Oh god, I love 85 EastEnders. We're only 2 weeks in. Nick, you're a sound
Yeah.
lad, but Tony, fuck you. Fuck you, Tony.
I mean, even
Dr.
saying a bit more to this. So he's setting up. He's doing this for him and Kelvin, his son, who we'll see fairly soon. They're trying to have the better life, and he's got his ideas as to what he wants Kelvin to do, and Kelvin doesn't really agree. But anyway, that's way further in the future. He recruits Nick Cotton and Arthur Fowler to work on the house with him. Fucking now we know what Nick's storyline's going up, but imagine the scenes if he just went, "I'm not racist. My boss is black." Like he would fucking say that, wouldn't he?
like
He would
how
absolutely say that.
like how I imagine the current president of the United States goes, I can't be
Oh, God.
racist. I managed a black guy in wrestling. I can't be racist. Like doing that fucking approach.
But yeah, so and it's a nice thing as well because obviously Nick, we're getting to see more of Nick and what he's all about. He's still, I mean, he's alternative title. Nick Cotton is a massive fucking racist. Goes after Ali, goes after Saeed and Naima, goes after.
I mean, if I can just add on to this, right?
Tony.
He goes up to Saeed and he's like, I know Saeed is useless. I know he's useless. He goes up to Saeed and he's like, yeah, you people from not here. You people who are not from here. And he's like, I'm from England, mate. I was born in England. Yes, my background is different, but I'm born in England. I've been raised in England. He's like, you got to sell the coffee cheaper. And then Saeed's like, all right, fair enough. And he's like, I'll buy the coffee now when it's cheaper. And then he just keeps going up to Ali and just torments him. And then fucking in the middle of this, when he's asking Arthur, like, oh, do you want to be paid cash in hand? Arthur's like, nah, I don't know what he says, but he's like, nah, I don't want to be paid cash in hand.
He says, nah, I want it all above board.
Yeah, and then Nick says something like, yeah, you're going to get black people prices. And I'm like, the fuck?
No, he says, yeah, you know the black economy. Which is obviously, I mean, I'd imagine the implication is him basically saying all cash in hand, not above board, fucking. But obviously, Tony is like a stand-up guy in the sense he does just like, he doesn't want all that shit, does he?
No,
he doesn't. He doesn't want any of the aggro. He's a hard-working, honest man, and yeah, that's just generally.
he's just a sound
That's
lad.
just how it is. That's how it is. He's just a sound guy.
Again, if we have to check his Twitter, it's probably not sound. That's a joke, but yeah. I think I will move on to the.
Don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of just like looking at your favorite wrestler from the 80s. Like, please, Please don't check his Twitter. Please don't check his Twitter. But I will move on now. I will move on. We've had our fun. So yeah, the infest.
I think that the perfect explanation of Tony's character comes from how he's described in the Wikipedia post. Happy-go-lucky Tony tries to carve himself a successful business and a steady home for his family, but nothing he ever does is good enough for his nagging wife. Yep, there you go. It's a fucking power look, isn't it? It's an absolutely powerful look. The big thick mustache, like the cool cap.
He looks like I know this is just a dated reference, but he looks like the bus driver from Fireman Sam. Um, don't Google the bus driver for Fireman Sam, but he just looks like the original bus driver from Fireman Sam. I think it's the bus driver, but yeah, I just like him. He's a nice guy. Can we keep Tony? Can we bring him back? Ben Whitey, I know you're doing fan fiction, but yeah. So will I continue
And
on?
he says he was supposed to be. Obviously, the actor was a lot bigger than they actually expected, but went, nah, fuck it, this is good. This is good. Well, he's just got a presence. He's just got a really big presence.
He's just a
Apparently,
lovely
he was in Charlie and the Chocolate 2005 as a shopkeeper.
Oh, he's in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. 2005.
Not the good one.
The Johnny Depp one. Move on swiftly now. To the investigation begins. I forget what this bloke's name is, but I think his name is Doctor Investigator Rich, isn't it? Rich something. What's his name?
Just did Detective Rich. I don't remember his name. I did look it up.
Detective Rich is on the square. He's going to find out who killed Reg Cox. Spoiler: he doesn't do a good job because it's not revealed till 2 years later.
Big Terry Rich.
How rich are you, Terry? But Big Terry Rich, he kind of he navigates. He goes up to Ali and he's like, "Hey, Ali, so your wrist? What's wrong with your wrist?" And Ali's like, "Just was in a fight with Nick. Leave me alone, please. I want to talk to you." And then he talks to Sue, and he's like, "Sue,
Zoo."
I'm sorry, it's my accent coming out." He goes up to Sue and he's like, "Hello, Sue. So your husband, what was he doing the night when Reg Cox was murdered? Leave me alone, please. I'm running a cafe. Please leave me alone." And then he just starts throwing up a coin or something in the air in front of the baby, and we're like, leave the poor baby alone. Leave the poor baby alone. He goes around to various people. He's like, "Hey, where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Where were you?" He like we said, he goes up to Tony. He's like, "Get this fucking shit out of here, Tony." Like, Jesus Christ, there, Detective Rich. He then, what was I saying? He then comes to a conclusion. He goes to Mark Fowler and goes, "Mark, where were you the night he was murdered?" And Mark's like, "At school, looking for the bog roll, but I couldn't find it. Not really. Leave me alone." And then obviously, Lou Beale says she gave him an alibi. And that's really what happens. Unless you have anything else to remember from it.
Not really. Like, the investigation continues. He's no closer, really. No one's really leaning out as a main suspect. Obviously, we know who the suspect is. But equally, one thing I will just say, and I keep having to say this, if you're expecting the actual conclusion to who killed Reg Cox anytime soon, stop. Slow it down. It's not happening for a fucking long time yet. Like, the answer's known, but it's not really addressed till years away. So
Yes.
just prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves.
So, moving on to the next topic, because that was just very quickly just about the investigation, really.
Also, I think one thing to just note, obviously, it's not like we're aiming to just make this shorter, but I mean, it is just 2 episodes, which is the week, but also obviously last week's the first week, and we're like, fucking yeah, like like a kid on fucking sherbet, just fucking bouncing off the walls, just fucking screaming, just yeah, it's fucking having a go. Obviously, this week a bit less happens, and we're a bit less excited to talk about it. So this one's probably not going to be an hour long. This one's probably is going to be more bite-sized, which is probably what the length is actually going to be of the podcast. So I just want to make that, make that clear, just in case people are like, "Oh, this one was shorter." Yeah, not much happened.
Yeah, fair enough. So moving on to Beale the Teenager. Now, why is Beale a teenager? She's like 60. I know she's like 80 in real life, but
Like fucking 80.
why is she a teenager? Well, why? Well, it's simple. Because she wants Pauline and Arthur to move out. Because how dare Pauline have a kid in her 40s? Fuck you, Pauline. How dare you shag? But she basically gets annoyed. The Dr. Lake comes up and goes, Hey, Lou, you remember the old days? You remember the old days? Like how everyone lived under the one roof? We should really keep doing that nowadays, shouldn't we? I'm like, what are you, a bloody communist? No. And then Pete comes in, big old Pete Beale. I love Pete Beale. And he's like, well, Ma, I got you some oranges, your favourite. She can't eat those. She has gums. She doesn't have teeth. She's just going to suck the orange. I don't know. But yeah, he's like, well, Ma, we should all live under the same house. Pauline and Arthur shouldn't move out. That's what should happen. And Lou's like, leave me alone, please. And lobs the fruit at his head. Does get a good shot, doesn't she?
Yeah, bounces off his fucking gargantuan chest. Sorry, I was asked to say that by Pete Beale.
Well, he is a monk after all, or a Buddhist. He's one of the two.
Yeah, he is a Buddhist. Well, we've not even seen it yet because obviously at the beginning, Pete Beale just drinks out of like a silver tankard, and he's not doing that just because it's cool. He's doing that because obviously he doesn't drink alcohol, so because of his Buddhist beliefs. So
it's a fairly stark difference when you compare Pete Beale the person, like Pete Beale the actor, the fucking then Dirty Den the actor. It's like a big stark difference. I can see why they didn't get along. One's a Buddhist, one's a sex pest. It's understandable. Just want to put it out there. Just shout out Pete Beale. He seems like a lovely bloke. Buddhist people seem alright. They have the big fat guy they pray to. That's alright. That's cool.
irreplaceable Pete Beale.
No one can replace him. It is mental to me though that his legacy lives on in the square. Not because Kathy still exists in the square, but because the fucking fruit and veg stall is not gone. Like it went,
Yep.
because it went to Martin. I believe it went to Ian, and then it went to Martin because
Went to Ian. Yeah.
and then Ian got rich, so they went, fuck, we
Went
can't
to
have.
Ian. Went to Mark.
Yeah, and then it went
Went to
to
Martin.
yeah, and then probably some Beals in between there because obviously Martin left for a time period and got her face swapped, and then obviously he went back to Martin when he returned, and then Ruby Allen bought it off Ian, and then Martin obviously died. Spoiler.
And then he brought it back.
Yeah, bollocks. Imagine, I feel, side note, I know this is not about the modern one, but imagine being Ian Beale. Oh fuck, I've got that business off my shoulders. That's oh, he's dead. Oh, bollocks.
Back in the
Jeez.
game. I'm back.
Peter, get on that fucking stall, will you? I'm not selling the fruit and veg. You get on that stall, you prick. You get on it. And then obviously goes to, as we know now, Peter and Oscar. But how rich is fucking Pete Beale selling fruit and veg? That's my question. He's a bloody pimp with the potatoes. So he is. Bloody whipping the potatoes.
It is ridiculous, isn't it?
Like
they are rich because they both have a job. He's selling fruit and veg. She's working in the pub. Outrageous behavior.
I understand why they would be rich in a sense because obviously the cafe would be using the spuds from like Pete Beale,
yeah,
and people would be buying on the square because at this time, even though there's probably a Tesco's, it's fucking London. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an Aldi or Lidl just in the town over, but like it's probably a lot cheaper to go to the market to get your fruit and veg. then say like get on a bus, go to fucking somewhere in London, like an Aldi or a Lidl, and get shopping there, and then bring it back on the bus, and then bring it back to your flat. It's probably a lot harder than say just, oh Pete, give me 6 apples, 3 pears.
Piggy's trying to interpret being alive in the 80s. Yeah, you just go down fucking Aldi or Lidl, like fucking. That's what they all did, didn't they?
Well, I don't know when fucking Aldi and Little came over to England. Probably the 2000s, if I had to guess. But yeah, like that's just
You don't know. It's fine. It's fine. You don't know. I don't know either.
But that's probably my
Before our time.
That's probably my explanation of why he's rich, because everyone's on the square is buying off him. It's kind of like why Den Watts, like even though
I mean, it's local.
Yeah.
You're also technically you're supporting someone local to you. But yeah, market stores are a whole lot less prominent than they used to be.
it's a dying breed.
But yeah, ease of convenience. Why get something on the market store when you can probably just get it next day on Amazon?
Fucking just you.
Signed lazy people.
I'm just imagining you on the square going up to Peter, not Pete, but Peter nowadays, going, Peter, I know you're selling apples, but look what I got on Amazon for £2. Fuck you. I've got apples from Granny Smith, apples from Amazon. Fuck you.
The one thing that's kind of cool in a way is that they've now added like Iceland and fucking Morrison's to Amazon.
Oh.
But in the same way, it just fucks up the search engine because it's like, oh, where can you get this from? You can get it from Morrison's. Well, I'm not going to get it from Morrison's because you need like a certain amount of money to like get it delivered. Like, what's the Amazon price? Oh, you can get it from Iceland. Fuck off! I don't want to get it from Iceland. I'm on Amazon. Leave me alone.
But yeah, no, but yeah, obviously.
If I wanted to go to Iceland, I'd go to fucking Iceland. Stop making the shit harder to find.
Pete Beale would be so fucking confused if he was alive nowadays. The character. What do you mean I could buy apples off this company called Amazon? I thought that was a rainforest. No, Pete. No, it's not. It's a company by a bald guy. I forget what his name is, but
Jeff Bezos.
I was gonna say Pete Bezos, but I didn't know.
I do like how I kind of laugh at how like Ian got rich by having multiple businesses. Pete got rich by having a fruit and veg store.
They're not the same. They're not
What's
the same.
The fucking point? What's the fucking point? Ian has a chippy, has a calf, fucking has multiple chippies. Pete Beale, fruit and veg store. Fuck off.
Well, Pete, you know what to say. Anyways.
Well, Pete would probably be people being like, well, you just, you guys just don't work hard enough anymore, do you? Fuck, you know.
I generally do. I know, like, this is supposed to be for the age, but I generally do wonder what Pete Beale would think of Ian now. Like, it's generally mesmerizing to think. Like, what would Pete Beale generally think of his son? Would he be proud, or would he not?
I don't think so.
I think he wouldn't be proud with his wife, Kathy, dating fucking Harvey, though. I think he'd be very disappointed in that. You went from one lazy twat to another. But Jesus Christ, Kathy. How could you? Obviously, Harvey has a less significance on the square than bloody. Yeah, also, why don't you get Harvey out on the fruit and veg stall? I know he has a gammy knee, but get him out on the fruit and veg stall.
Yeah, he's running the cab business now.
Alright, fair enough. But yeah, you could get him on the...
slapped his way to the top.
Just like Triple H. But yeah, she throws the fruit and veg at the fruit, well, not the veg, but the fruit at Pete, and Pete's like, alright, fuck you then. Why are you my mother? I love you, but you... Yeah, he's doing one of those. I'll fucking show you, Lou. To be fair, if I was in his shoes, I would hate to... Like, I know I'm watching this from, like, from an outsider, but I'd hate to have Lou as a parent. She... Like, to watch her, it's fun, but imagine being the person, like, the son or daughter of Lou. Oh.
I'd be fucking miserable, wouldn't it?
What do you mean, you said?
I've just gotten home, just time to sit down, take the shoes off, get a cup of tea, maybe not watch some TV, have a night in with a family. Arthur!
I bet that haunts Arthur whenever he's in.
What, Mum? Arthur, you've not done anything today, you lazy sack of shit.
Lou, can you?
I remember making the joke of like remember making the like kind of sick joke of like putting Arthur's grave next to Pauline. Oh no, putting Arthur's grave next to Lou. Arthur, you've not done anything in years. I'm dead, Lou. Yeah, well, it's just fucking it's just great. I just love her though. Like I thank fuck she's not my nan, but fucking hell, I do love her as somebody else's. I mean, it's just that it it's just the British way where it's like if your mate's having a really rough time, but it's funny, you just keep ribbing him about it. But if you're doing it, it's like fuck off. Just
Yeah.
if it's happened to your mate's really funny, it's happened to you. Get the fuck off.
Fuck off. It's true though. It's true. But you know, and then
He shit himself away. Fuck off.
Sorry. But continuing on, Arthur, Pauline, Kathy, and Pete all sit down. They're like, I know how to get Lou on our side. Clacton?
Send it to her home.
Send it to her. That's fucking Ash in that scenario. But no, they're like Clacton. Let's bring her to Clacton. They're like, well, I can't
You
go.
know, nice little beach down south.
Home to totally not racist, bigoted Nigel Farage. Totally allegedly. There is yes a letter that proves otherwise, but still. Sorry, I just love that, like how he denied he wasn't
What do you mean?
racist.
You're just not afraid of telling the truth.
No, side note, I just love how he claims he's not racist. Right? Anyway, I didn't bully that guy, and then the guy went, "Yeah, but I've a letter proving that you did." How does my dick taste, player? It's just that response I love. I didn't bully him. I actually have proof. Oh shit. Who wants to buy a cameo off me now? 20 quid higher. But yes, go to Clacton, and then obviously Arthur goes, "I can't go. Obviously, I have to work." He doesn't say that, but imagine he did. Pauline goes, I work at the laundrette, I can't go. Pete goes, I work at the fruit and veg stall, I can't go. Kathy goes, I work at the Queen Vic, I can't go. Michelle. Poor
Take your old nan to Clacton. Go on.
Dude,
Go on, Michelle. You do nothing for this family. Except everything.
No wonder she leaves. How miserable is it? Oh, I've got to look after Cran.
Michelle.
Michelle.
It's just Arthur's get out of jail free card. Bloody hell! I've got to go wash my hair. Michelle, go take Lou out to the bingo. I'm working more than you, Dad. Don't speak to me like that, Michelle.
Don't fucking call me Michelle, Dad. My name's Michelle. Fuck you.
Michelle.
Do you reckon when Michelle Fowler dies in the show, that's what's gonna haunt her in heaven? Michelle, oh no. I was better being alive and being a pedo than it is being dead. But she is, because don't forget she shagged a 17-year-old. Fucking being haunted by fucking Arthur Fowler. It's gotta be one thing. But moving swiftly on from me nearly in the show. She is in the show. I should clarify that in the show. But moving swiftly on, yeah, they lump Michelle in, and Michelle is going to look after them. Is going to take Pauline.
Take Lou Beale to Clacton.
Yep. Also, my favorite thing is Pauline had to go for a scan, and Lou's like, "Who's going to take me to the fucking bingo?" Go on, Lou. You have your priorities straight. Go on. I mean, I'm basically a gran in a sense, because whenever I go on those gambling sites, I don't gamble like on like horses or anything. I just like doing the bingo. That's what I like doing. I like doing the bingo. Bingo's fun. Gamble responsibly, folks. Or don't gamble at all would be the right approach. And don't gamble if you're underage, please. When the fun stops, just to do how the ads do it. So yeah, I guess I'll move on to the final topic, which is Lofty Gate. Now, Lofty is an interesting character here, folks. We talk about useless people Why don't we make the king of the useless people here? Well, there's still sides. He can't really be the king of useless people, can he? But so what is Lofty? Who is Lofty? Lofty is he works cash in hand for the Queen Vic. He's a bit clumsy. He's a bit of an idiot. A bit of spends his money, so he's a bit like me. So he spends a lot of his money. He basically goes up to Ethel and goes, "Hey, sweet cheeks, want to do my laundry?" Obviously, Ethel's like 80. She's like, "Yeah, I will." And my favorite bit is Ethel is giving Willie some tea, like some normal tea, probably with no milk in it, because probably would run through Willie.
It had tea. It had milk in it.
Oh, did it? Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
But she
Mate,
gave
only the finest for Prince Willie.
Prince Willie, King Willie, I'll have you know. He got knighted. But yeah, so she basically she's basically giving Willie like a cup of a plate of tea.
The Prince of Darkness, Willie the Pug.
His emo persona's coming out. Tonight will be the night I will fall for you. Sorry. But yes, and no, Willie the Pug is getting a lovely plate of tea because she can't really put it in a cup for him. Willie's a bit dumb, to put it lightly. And then
No, we didn't see him pour it.
I just like to imagine behind the scenes Julius Smith is about to film the scene, and then it just pans to fucking Willie the Pug pouring the tea. Lovely bit of chat, isn't that nice, lads? Wouldn't get this on fucking Coronation Street now, would you? But yeah, no, she's poured a plate of tea, and then Lofty comes in and says, "Yeah, you couldn't spot me a bit of tea." No, I gave it to Willie. You can't have it. It's Willie's tea. And he's like, "Can you do me laundry, please? I'm a bit spot for a time, so can you do it, please?" And then she's like, I will do it for you. Don't worry. And iron it as well, please. You know, I'm going on a date. He's not going on a date, but like iron it as well. And then, yeah. So Lofty goes to Sue and Ollie's cafe. Ali, I keep saying Ollie. Ali goes to the cafe. He gets he gets like a cheese and onion like roll or sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tea, which would be about 54p, I think they said, or 55p, which is not bad for the time. Again, not bad. We would kill for it nowadays. We would. But yeah, he robs it basically because he doesn't have the money and he's a bit spotted for cash. And obviously Detective Rich is looking at him like, "Did you murder him, Lofty?" And Lofty's like, "I didn't." So we continue on where Lofty, you know, he robs the pint of milk from Dr. Leg, which is left on the doorstep. He robs it. He starts drinking it, and Dr. Leg's like, "Don't take advantage of Luke," or not Luke, Ethel there, Lofty, and Lofty's like, "I won't. I promise, I won't." And then continuing on, he basically works the Queen Vic. They have a party because some things I should mention is Ali and Sue are having an argument, and then it's like, "I thought you were cheating on me, Ali," and he's like, "No, I was gambling on the horses," and that's the first up tough. And then the second one is all about the party.
It's a very very good fucking. It's like, "You were cheating on me, weren't you, Ali?" "No, I was gambling." It's like, well, that's not better, is it? Like, fucking.
He's just got his priorities straight, hasn't he? But yeah, no, he was gambling. So yeah, the second one's about the party because you watch the reactions or you've watched these episodes, you would know that Den accidentally walked in with some whiskey that he wasn't supposed to because he's technically outsourcing for the brewery of where he's getting the whiskey. So he had to come up with a lie saying, "Oh, it's for a party we're throwing." And obviously he offered to invite Mr. Chumley. His name is Chumley, by the way. His last name is Chumley. Or Chumley. It's Chumley. One of the two. Chun-Li! Whoa. Better not check out Chun-Li's Fortnite skin, I'll tell you what, lads. Gooners unite. But yeah, he basically invites Mr. Chumley to come to the party. He doesn't show up. But Lofty's there having a few drinks. He's having a few drinks. drinky drink. So he goes downstairs, and then Sharon's like, "Hey, Lofty," but she doesn't obviously unbutton, but she's like, "Lofty, this shirt's a bit small on me. If you know what I mean? Bit small. Bit small. You know, you're pretty mature for your age, Lofty. Anyone ever told you that? Yeah, a bit mature. Can I have a smoke of your cigarette there, Lofty? No? Okay. It's a bit dark in here. Can I get a bit closer to you, Lofty?" And they go to kiss, and then Angie shows up, and Angie's like, "Lofty, I know what you're trying to do, Lofty. Don't do it." So they go upstairs, and then Den's on the phone to Mr. Chumley, who's not coming. And then Angie leans in. "Lofty, you look beautiful." And they kiss, they lock eyes, they kiss. And then Den is just standing, like that one meme of the guy standing there, like, and he looks on, and he's like, no, because obviously, in Den's eyes, he doesn't give a shit that Angie's cheating on him. He's ruining the image, is old Lofty. So he goes downstairs and he goes, "Hey, Lofty, do you know the one thing about working cash in hand is I can get rid of you just like that." Basically threatening him. Goes upstairs to talk to Angie, and then Angie's like, "Den, you cheat on me with Jen, but or Jan, it's Jen, I think. You cheat on me with Jen, and I can't even bear." What? Jan, okay. You cheat on me with Jan. How? And I can't even buy a pair of tights for £5. But you cheat on me and you buy all these expensive gifts for Jan. How could you? How could you then? But I do a little kissy smoochy smooch with someone and you get mad at me. And then obviously she goes upstairs, has a few drinks, and the duff is the marriage is not all that it seems to be, which will play out for the next year and a half. If you don't know, it does play out until 1990. I was going to say 1990, 1986. Wonder what happens then. Hopefully Angie doesn't die. So yeah, that is the duff, and that is the thing about it. Anything you want to say before I get into the thoughts and awards about the show?
It's just a really sad state of play where, at the end of the day, you understand why Angie just isn't happy, and that's the sad bit, really, because she just really wants Den to love her, but I don't think Den's capable, so she just keeps on getting her hopes up, essentially, and I don't know. Then that's kind of what leads her to drink. Really, it's just really sad. It is really sad.
It's one of the best storylines from early EastEnders, I want to say. It's the Den and Angie. Who knows? It might be a video. I mean, if he ever watched the full if he actually watched the full 2 years of it, the Den and Angie stuff. But anyways, it's time for the thoughts about the show. So yeah, I enjoyed this week for a second week. They really are going guns blazing. This is being recorded on the 41st anniversary week of EastEnders, so it's kind of in line with like dates and stuff. But I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a good week as well. It flew by. Obviously, the highlight was Ash and Chipgate eating those chips. We love to see it. But like the one thing I definitely
gotta eat, like.
Yeah, no, you can. I'm not saying you can't. But yeah, I do recommend this week. I do recommend you check out Tony Carpenter. Don't like how the fucking police officer just was very racist to Tony. Well, racially profiling him, saying get this shit out of here. That's not nice, Detective Rich. I do like Sue being like, "I thought you were cheating on me, Ali. I keep saying Ali. And he's like, "No, I was gambling, you bitch. But I was going to give you this money, but you're not having it now. Fuck off. It's my money." And yeah, that's what he does. Anything you want to say, and then I'll get into the awards.
No, it was a good week. It was definitely kind of less hyped as the first one, but like I said, watching 1985 EastEnders, it's just humble. It's just a humble time. It's not all dialed up to 100. We're not having big stunt weeks. It's just simple drama about the people living on the square. So I like it. It's been a really good blend of kind of seeing all the different characters' personalities, and I just feel for Angie, really. I feel for Angie, who just wants to have Den love her, but Den will never love Angie, so she just drinks, tries to numb the pain. I like Arthur as well. Like Arthur's finally getting a job. Obviously, he's going to be sad when the job kind of runs its course, but yeah, I don't know. It's so easy to root for a lot of these characters, but also Lou Beale and Ethel's supremacy, of course.
Yeah. And now it's time for the awards. So we have the Julia and Tom. I'm messing up all the words. I'm messing up all the words. We have the Julia and Tony Award, the Sue Osmond Award, underrated, and of course, who needs slapping down? So where do you want to start, Julia and Tony?
We always start with most promising, so Julia and Tony.
I'll go first. I'm.
All right.
I know this plays out for a year and a half, like I said, but it's going to generally, if we do end up watching the full like first 2 years of EastEnders, it's generally going to be interesting to see the Den and Angie stuff play out. Because if people don't know, which you should know by now, I am a big fan of Den Watts. I love like the character Den Watts. He's just a dirty old man. Like I can't really describe it without trying to get demonetized, but he's just especially later Den Watts. This Den Watts is more of a like he is dirty in a sense, but compared to like his later run where he's just basically a sex pest and an evil man, this Den Watts is like nicer to see. He's more you can probably
He's more of a lovable rogue.
Yeah. It like imagine you're to compare the two. Imagine like you're the first one. You're having just a lovely shot of rum and coke. You're just having a shot of rum. That is this Den. Imagine then after that you go into it like not even a pint, but like a yard of fucking Guinness, like a big massive jug of Guinness, and you have to drink it all in one shot. That's what it feels like with later Den. It's just a large Guinness, and you're like, oh god, you know. And yeah, I do like to see lovable rogue Den Watts. It is nice. You can clearly see that they landed perfectly on the casting of Den Watts with Leslie Grantham. And when we obviously talk about Den Watts, we're talking about him in 1985, not what later happens. But yeah, it's lovely to see him, and it's lovely to see him and Angie play out. Because even in the second week, you got Den. Just love Angie, please. Just love Angie. That's all you have to do, Den. She won't be so miserable if you actually love her. And Den's like, no. Fuck you. I'm cheating on you, Angie. I would never, Angie. Come back to... I know you're dead, but come back to us, Angie. Come back. Come back. We miss you. Yeah, what's your Julia and Tony award?
Poor. Just Tony Carpenter. Just love him. He's back. He's back. He's a happy-go-lucky guy, an honest man, and he kind of I don't know. He just never really. He just I don't know. Just goes bad for him really. It doesn't go horrendously bad for him, but he doesn't really get the life he wants, which is sad.
And yeah, we're moving on now to the Sue Osmond Award. This is the most wooden. Obviously, in the newer podcast, it's the Anthony Truman Award for the most wooden, but it's going to the Sue Osmond Award for 1985. Or Saeed. You can call it both if you want. Saeed or a Sue Award if you want. I don't care. But who is
the Saeed?
What?
I said the Saeed. He's not even listening to me anymore. What the fuck you say to me? Fucking hell. I'm just adding to the conversation.
Get back in your corner. Get back. Get back. I'm only messing. That is basically...
I think her name's Jan. Jan. What the fuck did you say to me? I said Jan.
Know your place. Know your place. I keep on to say Jen because that's all I don't know what.
Ali.
Ollie.
Ali.
Ollie.
Jen. Jan.
Zoo. Sa. All right, Sandman. But yeah, the zoo.
The
I would-
Sue Award
the Sue
for most
Oz.
wooden.
I
I'm gonna give it to Nick for just being a fucking racist.
think everyone is racist on this, which is fitting.
I mean, some are worse than others. Like,
Depending on how you look at it. Depending on how you look at it. But yes,
I'm the one who's joining a fucking fascist group. Like,
they're not.
spoilers.
They're not a fascist group, okay? They just offered milk and cookies. That's all they offered. Okay, maybe there was some memorabilia from World War II, but how was I supposed to know what memorabilia it was? It wasn't on the brochure, okay? It wasn't on it. That's obviously a joke. It's obviously horrendous to join a fascist regime. But yes, Nick is a great choice, but I'm going for Lofty. He's fucking useless. He's the most wooden. Like getting an old age pensioner to do your washing, mate. That's a bit low. Like poor Ethel. All she wants to do is give Willie tea. And you had to ruin it for her. How could you? But yes, continuing on. Up next we have underrated. Who gets the underrated award? Did you want to go first?
The Prince of Darkness, Willie the Pug.
Tonight, Willie, tonight I fall for you.
I like how you're saying that, but it's clearly a fucking Ozzy Osbourne reference, isn't it?
I know.
Not fucking. He's trying to get his Blink agenda over. Clearly referencing Ozzy Osbourne.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, you're going for Willie, are you? So who am I going to go for?
Yes.
I'm going for Tony. Big Tone. Big D Tony. And last but not least, who needs slapping down? Detective Rich, he does. And Nick, but Detective Rich for me.
Yeah, I have to give it to Rich.
Yeah. And now it is time for me
Your
to...
microphones go out.
I think we're back. Hello?
Yeah.
Now it's time for me to stumble over more.
Hello! It's fine.
Now it's time for me to stumble over more words.
Oh boy.
As we have a few comments, but mostly the members, they left a few comments. Now, when I say a few comments, I mean there was only 2 people who commented, but someone left like 10 comments.
I mean, to be fair, so it's not even gone out to the public yet, so...
Yeah, but I will read the members' comments out first. Because they were the first people to comment, because obviously we went out to members first. And it will go out to members again, this podcast, 1985 will. So I'm going to start out with SD Cricket Fan. They leave 2 comments, saying, and I guess I could pull this up on screen, I guess. Just give me a second. Okay, I probably need to use the other brave one. There we go. Hopefully people can see that. It might be a little bit scuffed, but I have 2 comments here from SD Cricket Fan. They say, shout out to Luke for helping convince Ash and Piggy to revisit old school EastEnders. It's fantastic to be able to see what the show was like back in the day and kind of use it to build upon what we already know about the history of EastEnders from what we've seen in the present. Keep it up. And then obviously Luke says, I can't really...
cool. Like we've given no illusions. Obviously, we did do this because Luke just watched a bunch of classic stuff, and we went, "Do you want to do that again?" Yeah, fuck it, why not? But I'm just gonna stroke my own ego, saying it's. He says it's good to see what it was like back then and use it to build upon the history from what we see in the present. That's my entire angle. That's always my angle about watching all these EastEnders. So I'm glad that the Watching Wolf for brainwashing has been working. Eventually, we'll have a whole army spouting our views. That is a joke.
And then continuing on from ST Cricket Fan, they say, quick question, guys, just to confirm, each episode you guys post will be a review of 4 episodes, just so I can keep up to date and not get too far ahead. Do you want to answer this one for us, Ash? Or do you want me to?
I mean, each podcast will be 2 episodes a week until we get to the point where they actually cross over to 4. But I think it goes to 3 in 91 and then 4 in 2000, but I've not fact checked that in a long time, so I could be wrong.
And we might only do the 80s. Who knows though how far we get? So
That's still years away at this point, though. So
and now we have a few comments from Luke, the Whovian, the ultimate Whovian. Fuck me, they left a paragraph. I have to read all these comments, but I will. So they say, here's the first comment. Well, here we go again. It's the 19th of February, 1985, and history is being made, and legendary characters are being formed. I personally think this has everything you could want from a first episode of a soap. It has Reg Cox being discovered by Den, Arthur, and Ali, a moment so memorable they decided to recreate it almost beat for beat for the start of the 30th anniversary on the show. Yep, that is
interestingly, they did it with Martin Fowler, of course. They did it with Stacey Slater, and I believe the third person was Kush, like Kush Kazemi. So, bit of a weird choice, but it works, I guess. It does work. I don't really know who the Den Watts is.
Stacey?
But they wanted to, I guess so, but not really the same characteristics. But yeah, just that is the thing they did.
Anyways, I digress. I think every character is given a chance to provide a snapshot of who they are and what we can expect going forward. From the get-go, we can see the original archetype character tropes that are still used and reworked today. For example, you have the feisty martial battle axe, matriarchal battle axe. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Lou Beale. This will probably become one of the most important archetypes going forward. As some of the best and most memorable matriarchs fit into this mold. Peggy Mitchell, Pat Butcher, and in later years, Pauline Fowler, to name a few. You also have the charming publicans. Sorry about my words, guys. I am dyslexic. Publicans in Den and Angie, who really cement the Queen Vic as the central heartbeat of the show. And then there's the unlucky, unfortunate character who tries but never truly succeeds in Arthur Fowler. Something that is, for me, is later. This is by Luke Bethai. Is later best reflected in Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why it's good, because you have, as they'll continue, you do have these. I mean, Luke is perfectly accurate here, right? You know, Arthur Fowler, similar to what? So some aspects of Alfie Moon in his bad times. Fucking Barry, Gary, Minty, these sorts of Frank Butcher even. I know that's a little bit controversial to say that, but you know, Frank Butcher was fucking useless. And he was a coward. And just kind of the archetype Ricky Butcher, these sorts of characters all come from the same cloth. And that's just for me, like, you know, the battle axes, like I said, it's not. And yeah, sure, you don't necessarily. It's not like they innovated these tropes, right? Because obviously Corey's been doing it since the 60s. But yeah, you can always see shades of where it began from the start, which is why it's always cool to go to the start and actually think about where it came from, because you can still see a lot of the hallmarks of EastEnders in 85 as you do in 2026. So it's so cool that it's got that much amount of history.
Yeah, I'll form my thoughts after I read all the comments, because I'm the one reading it and I'm the one butchering all the words. But I do agree. And by the way, Luke, if you heard me complain about like you left a long comment, obviously I don't care if you leave a long comment. Just know I'm going to complain slightly because I am dyslexic and words just blend into one. But I am the host, so I will read it because I do get 5p from this video. So cheers. And if you donate us £50, we will shout out your business. Okay, I'll lessen it to £2. How about that? I'm doing the fucking Nick Cotton.
Fucking back on track, back on track.
That being said, Albert Square, although completely new and fresh to us as viewers, feels believable and lived in from the outset. I truly believe it's good representation of the East End at the time. The attitudes, the characters, and the values you would have found. Particular standout characters for me is the first two episodes. In the first two episodes are Lou Beale, who you immediately see as a no-nonsense, tough-loved, war-hardened character. This contrasts nicely with her friend, her best friend Ethel Skinner, and her little Willie, of course. Ethel is a nosy, gossipy, slightly daft, and great comedic relief. But she's also the lonely survivor, a widow who, unlike Lou, has no family. She is socially dependent on the community, and despite her age, still has to work because she remains financially vulnerable. Dan and Angie Watts, the husband and wife who run the fic, are fascinating from the start. It's easy to see their marriage is volatile and deeply one-sided, with Angie loving Dan, but Dan not loving his wife. Dan is framed as complicated, publicly charming, and morally great, but privately manipulative, narcissistic, and controlling, particularly with Angie. Through this, we understand Angie better, a big personality, emotionally volatile, drinking to numb the pain Dan causes. Dan then uses this against her, shaming and controlling her, a vicious cycle of behaviour. Which is true, and then obviously you bring in later years Dan Watts, he's also the same to Chrissy, which is...
Yeah, exactly. Like it's one thing they framed it with later on, and you don't really do this at the time because at the time you do just go, "Oh fucking hell," you know. So it's usually the mask slips a little bit with Den, but if you do actually like, if you just do any like even slight bit of digging, you go, "Oh, oh God," because like he's not a good person, is he? He's not a good person. Yeah, sure, he puts on a good front and will always try and act to be prim and proper, but fundamentally he is obsessed with himself and his image, which is, I mean, as we see in today's episodes, right, where he isn't angry that Angie's tried to cheat on him with Lofty. Like, it's just more so he's angry that she did this publicly because now he looks like a fucking cock, essentially.
Yeah.
He looks like a little voyeur, just like, yeah, kiss her one more time, Lofty, come on.
But I will say, and I believe Sub Study gets the credit for this, how I've always perceived Dan, and obviously we don't know about Dennis Rickman yet, but how I perceive him is Dan only cares about one thing: himself, and one other thing: Sharon. Sharon is the princess. He is the king, and he wants to rule the kingdom, which is the Queen Vic and Walford.
Yes.
But what you don't really see in this era, but you will see further down the line when he does return in all three, is you slowly see some characteristics that will be further used when he is brought back to life, basically, to put it lightly. And it's lovely to see these early roots of Den Watts, but it's also hard as well as a viewer because you look at this and you go, no wonder Chrissy murders you. You are just terrible. Like not
Yes, like it's just that, and equally, he doesn't acknowledge that he doesn't really ever he doesn't, like I said, he's always controlling it in a way, right? He's always controlling it where Angie knows that he's sleeping with Jan, and he knows that he has a mistress, but he's never actually admitting it. He's just letting it fester in her brain. So even when he can, he's still like, "Yeah, what? I stopped doing that years ago." And then it kind of just like sits in Angie's brain, like, "Did he really though?" You know. So yeah, it's kind of he's always on. He's never really caught out, and that's the scary bit because he is lovable in a way, and he does do some good stuff, and he does he does often make the right decision. And as it goes on, he slowly starts to make the opposite decisions. And I don't know, it's multi-layered, and I think it's just incredibly he's just such an interesting character. He is very complex, and I mean that's why he's probably so beloved as a character, because he does have the endless like charm and charisma, but you still know that he's not inherently a good person. So there's so much to unpick.
There's so much to say about Den that I would love to give him his own video, but that does require like so much. Not to say like, oh boo hoo, our jobs are so hard, but it does require like doing so much research. I have no problem doing it because, like I said, Den Watts is one of my favorite soap characters of all time. I love him so much, and I think he is generally complex. The one scene that I always will recommend if you ever want to see how smart he is obviously when he was brought back in '03, it was drastically different. And obviously the new Hardman was Phil Mitchell. And a scene I will always and I will continue to recommend is you have to watch the scene where Phil with one arm confronts Dan Phil, obviously, he's younger. He beats the shit out of Dan. But Dan goes, wait, I can outsmart this fucker. He goes,
Like
oh,
with an arm and a sling as well.
yeah. Phil is like arm in a sling, punching the shit out of old, filthy old fucker Dan Watts. And then
Throwing him
Dan,
around.
yeah, he's ragging him around, like he's ragdolling him around. And then obviously Dan goes, I can outsmart him. And he goes, oh, glad you could show up. And then whacks him with a chair. And I'm like, that's one thing I will always bring up, because Dan, he may not win a fight, but he can outsmart you and win the fight that way. And that's why I truly love him, because I would love to watch most of the scenes that he did have with Phil, because it's so interesting to see the matriarch of the 80s interacting with the matriarch of the 90s. It's such a weird clash that you're like, this shouldn't have.
Mother.
What you say?
Matriarch.
Oh, that's the wrong word. What's the word?
Yes.
Sorry.
Well,
It's
I just not. I mean, it's described. It's basically just the fallen king versus like the new king, essentially.
yeah.
That's how I always characterize it. Obviously, matriarch means like mother or like fucking nan.
I mean, he could be.
So,
We don't know. We don't
I
know.
mean, you could angle it as being like the fucking patriarch, really.
The patriarch. That's the word I was looking for. Because it is the patriarchs of the 80s and 90s.
Den Watts is mother.
Give me milk, mummy. Okay, move swiftly on. Move swiftly on. The last standout character I wish to mention is Arthur. Arthur. Fucking love Arthur. Who is really everything Den isn't. He's financially insecure, unemployed, and struggling to find work in Thatcher's Britain of the mid-80s. This affects his pride, mentally, self-worth, and confidence. He's true. That might be mentality, so sorry, I'll just say that again. Mentality, self-worth, and confidence. He's trying but can't provide for his family, and that hurts him deeply. In a way, it makes him feel like less of a man in a society that expects men to provide and protect. Unlike Den, however, Arthur and Pauline, though not perfect, have a loving and realistic marriage that endures through thick and thin, the good times and the bad. As for the main story,
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what it's a very real, it's a very human relationship, right? It's not. We always would joke about how in Chris Clenshaw's EastEnders, we'd only remember that they're in a relationship when there are problems. But like Arthur and Pauline are just getting through it, you know? They live in the same house as her mum, who's a fucking controlling, loud, obnoxious, antagonistic fucking battle axe, perpetually screaming at Arthur. But Arthur stays because he's there for Pauline. And look, it's not that he doesn't want to work. It's just he's in a position where nowhere is hiring long term, and therefore he can only get brief little stints of work. And through that's why his kind of psyche starts to deteriorate, because I have to deal with Lou all the fucking time, having to deal with Mark when that happens, with Michelle growing up and doing what she does. Like there's a lot going on, and I don't know, a better person would fucking struggle to hand it. But even in this week's episode, we just see Arthur and Pauline. They're just laughing at it, just like, oh, it's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? Like, this is really what we're doing with our lives, you know? They're joking about how Mark's stealing Pauline's cigarettes. They're joking about Lou kind of being a bitch again. Like, it's a very human way to get through it. And that's kind of what I love. And, that's why we love '06 Christmas because of these reasons. Because Pauline, Pauline never really, she never really, like, yeah, sure, she may have technically moved on, but she still held a lot of the past very near and dear. Even if Lou or Pete or Mark aren't even here anymore, or Arthur, she still holds on to that kind of that mentality, and that kind of makes her way more engaging. And that's kind of why we love that Christmas episode, because you get all this really rich history, which I get. If you didn't watch any of '85, you're probably going to go, meh, who the fuck was Arthur anyways? But it's like, no, like it was just true. It was just very, like, they've been through a lot. They've been through a shit ton of stuff together. Sweethearts into marriage, into full fucking domestic bliss with the house, the kids, the nightmarish mother-in-law. Like, it's just a truly, it's just humble. I just love it. I just fucking love it.
I do want to add on to this, and if people want why 2006 worked for 2025 doesn't work, I can perfectly sum it up. 2006, yes, it relies on history of the Fowlers, but the one thing that it doesn't hit you over the head with is you don't need to know 20 years of the past, because literally in the opening scenes of Christmas 2006, the opening shot is Pauline looking through all the pictures. So you immediately go, oh wait, that's Arthur. I remember Arthur. That's original Mark Fowler. That's Michelle Fowler. That's Martin Fowler. And you immediately, and that's Lou Beale as well. That's Pete Beale. You immediately understand. Whereas 2025 is like, you have to know this. Like, yeah, but some people won't know this. That's the problem. It's where in '06 they tell you immediately, and why it works so well, and why Pauline, even though I do agree with the mentality she should have never remarried, it is still funny to me that her hitting Arthur with the frying pan is what actually kills her, because someone hits her with a frying pan and ultimately kills her. But yeah, she is such a fantastic character as Pauline. Despite what we say about later years Pauline, she does turn into fucking Luby. But yes, I will continue on. Um, as for the main storylines in the first week of EastEnders, hold on. As for the main storylines in the first week of EastEnders, the mystery surrounding Reg Cox is a strong hook. It fades slightly into the background, but it is kicked into overdrive when episode 2 ends with Dr. Legg receiving the show's first character Duff as the police begin investigating Reg's murder. It's arguably the show's first attempt at a whodunit, something that they would build on and refine over time. The other major storylines is Pauline's pregnancy and fallout it causes in the Beale/Fowler household. What's important is that you can understand both sides of the argument. Arthur and Pauline decide to have the baby, while Lou, Pauline's mother, is the main opposition. But Lou is thinking practically about money, space, and what the baby will mean in real terms. Arthur and Pauline are thinking as parents rather than for Lou's colder, more pragmatic perspective. They understand the financial. What'd you say?
Pragmatic.
Perspective. They understand the financial strain, but never seriously consider having the baby.
I mean, you can understand why Lou's like that, because let's just frame what the Fowler Beale household is. So, Arthur and Pauline have their room. Mark, I assume, has his own room. And then you have Lou Beale and Michelle with a curtain in the middle, separating their rooms. Like, that's why we always kind of take the piss saying that Michelle always draws the short straw. Because she has to share a room with her fucking gran. No secrets in there. You know? Lou just fucking snoring through the night whilst Michelle's trying to get sleep after work in her 7th shift of the week. Like, it's not an ideal situation. And they're threatening to bring a baby in there, Arthur out of work. And, Lou's probably, Lou is traditional, let's be honest. The man provides, woman's kind of keeping the home. So Arthur's not providing any income. How are they going to pay for a new baby? And yeah, it's just kind of it's good in a way because you see how close all the families are. And we always take the piss out of current EastEnders whenever somebody goes, Mum, I'm going to move out. I'm going to move out. No, you can't move out. Where are you going to go? Just down the street. Oh, no, you can't go. That's so far away. I'll never see you. But this is a family who are basically living under each other's feet, fucking struggling. But because they're a family, they're going through it thick and thin. It's just I don't know. It's just, I love it.
I will continue on. Finally, Jen and Angie's wedding anniversary is used effectively to highlight how broken their marriage already is. It's clear Dan emotionally checked out years ago. Yeah, he won't divorce Angie. The key reason seems to be control. If he divorced her, he would lose control of the narrative and potentially unmask the truth. the truth den he keeps hidden. He also thrives on Angie's emotional instability, blaming her drinking, which he knows is a coping mechanism, and using it as leverage. His disgust over her drinking even rubs off onto their adoptive daughter Sharon, something that becomes more prominent going forward. Dan's refusal to leave Angie also stems from his enjoyment of her dependence on it. It feeds his ego and maintains his power. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely true. We've already done a beast talking about Den in this situation, so
I have a few more
more than
comments
fine.
from him, but he says his first comment. In conclusion, these first two episodes are, in my opinion, engaging and hit the ground running. While viewed though through modern standards, they may feel smaller in scale. They clearly establish what the show is and what happens to be. 41 years later, we know it succeeded, not just becoming a soap opera for the BBC, but a flagship program and a national institution. Institution? Hope that's the word.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it all started here. If nothing else, this is the true piece of soap history. A well-paced, easy watch that leaves you wanting more. Glad to see Ash and Piggy back to go through the classic years of EastEnders. I, for one, will be following and watching along with you, and I can't wait to enjoy the journey. Thank you, Luke.
Cheers, Luke. Hell of a comment. Um, it's cool to see the passion because w- watching shows like this, it can be very easy to take everything at face value, but for the most part, there is usually like a much more kind of intriguing narrative you can actually kind of go into, right? Like the Ethel comparison, right? Ethel going through them saying, "Look, Ethel, she is lonely though, isn't she? And she has to have everybody around her actually kind of be family." And I don't know, it's just there's so much cool depth that you can go into that can be really easy to miss, but Luke catches everything.
And he says here, I'll just thumbs up anyways. In addition to my comment before, if anyone reads it fully, thank you for your time and for indulging my autistic, detail-driven thoughts about this show. Believe it or not, I had even more thoughts, but I tried to keep it manageable. You can say as much as you want, mate. I'll read it out. Um, and they say my Julia Antonio award for these episodes would be Ethel, as she's a joy and steals the attention when in scenes with her comedic timing. The Sue Osmond Award goes to Saeed, as he's a useless piece of piss and wind. The underrated award for me
Right,
goes to Angie for me. Who needs slapping down? Goes to Nick Cotton for being such an outrageous and racist bigot. Does he leave any more?
exactly.
Um,
Yeah, they leave some questions at the top.
I've been thinking about some questions for the next episode. I'll thumbs it up. Which 1985 character do you think would fit best if they were introduced as a brand new modern day character instead? Is the Reg Cox storyline
Well, hold on,
oh,
hold on. So that's just answer the questions as they come out.
okay?
Which 1985 character do you think would fit best if they were introduced as a brand new modern day character instead? Oh God, I mean, there's a lot of answers you could pick from. I don't think I'm going to pick any of like the big main characters. Um, Obviously, I've got a soft spot for Tony Carpenter, but I would absolutely fucking love to see Tony Carpenter in modern London. Um, One we've not seen yet, but I would kind of like to see it in a different way. I don't know how their relationship would be perceived now. I kind of thinking of Debbie and Andy. Obviously, we don't know them yet. If you don't know who they are, Debbie is like a banker and Andy's a nurse, and they juxtapose like that London because it's Thatcher's downtrodden London, and Debbie and Andy are middle class essentially. So I think Debbie is quite abrasive, but wants to feel like she connects, but she doesn't because she's clearly like wealthier and doesn't have the same struggles. Um, I wouldn't be against seeing Mary the Punk personally. I think that would be an interesting take these days, but I don't know. I think there's something. I'd see. I don't know if these characters would necessarily fit if they were in modern EastEnders,
Hmm.
because a lot of these are very
Of the time.
well. If they did Debbie and Andy, they'd probably be like, "Ah, yeah, it's a coercively controlling relationship where Andy is constantly belittled by Debbie, and therefore, blah, blah, blah." Like it's kind of a you'd probably need a slightly heavier kind of angle to take them into. But I think those would be really interesting,
Yeah.
personally. But yeah, I'd say Marry the Punk personally. I think that's gonna be obviously it's kind of a tale as old as time, but Mary's Mary's time on the show is a really interesting one. But equally, I think this era's it's a little bit grittier than modern EastEnders in a way. Like, it gets fucking dark real quick. So yes,
Eh, um, I do agree with most of that. I
like
would. Oh,
if you just want to see if you just want to see something really dark, just look at what happens to Kathy's first daughter. Like, fucking hell, Donna Ludlow, tragic, fucking tragic.
yeah. But if I had to, who would I bring in? Nick would be a great, like, especially considering the political like landscape that we're currently in, with obviously reform, and then in America, obviously ICE, and the Republican Party, and basically kind of having these, I don't want to say neo-Nazi regime ideas, but having those sort of ideologies still creep up today. And obviously, if you know Nick Cotton's original run in 1985, he is, by technicality, a neo-Nazi. Sorry if that word upset you. It would be interesting to see how they would kind of label a modern day neo and Yahtzee, like in modern day. Would be interesting to see how they would label it and how they would handle it, because I don't think they would quite handle it to the best extent.
I mean, see. I don't think he would be. I don't think the character will be allowed to like continue. I think it would have like a 1 year stint. It would be a villain, and by the end, he gets his comeuppance, goes to jail,
Yeah,
which they did with Nick. But obviously, they kept bringing Nick back, which is the difference.
it's weird because I can't really say what character would work nowadays compared to what worked in '85, because it's drastically different compared to, like, it's 40 years, basically 41 years, so it's very
And
hard for me
the
to
characters also they occupy very different. As I said before, like a lot of these characters, a lot of these characters are a lot more down to earth, and you can believe that a lot of these characters are genuinely just real people.
yeah.
For me, I feel like they come across as very regular, normal people, and it's not like. I mean, even we mentioned Soap Study earlier in this video, but he did a video discussing Brookside and how Brookside is a soap, but Brookside is almost doing a bunch of like political commentary on top of everything. But it takes a long time for them to fully embrace being like a true proper soap with like murder and death and stalking. So, but once they pop the cork on that bottle, they don't really try and fold it back. They just unleash it all. Um, so that's kind of the difference, right? Where yes, there are tragedies that happen early on, and yes, there are affairs, and yes, there's pregnancy, but for now, it is really quite reserved in its nature, and it's kind of it's a different thing as to what current EastEnders thrives on and what classic EastEnders thrives on.
Yeah,
The hallmarks are still the same, the foundations are still the same, but the goalposts keep getting moved.
and also, like, again, a great example of characters who never really moved on past their, like, initial stint. A great example is, I might get hate for this, but fuck it, is Grant. Because obviously Phil obviously stayed for the most part, excluding his a brief time where he went, I'm going to Hollywood. Oh wait, I'm not going to Hollywood. EastEnders, can I come back? But you've seen Phil, where Phil, obviously, I know he doesn't come in until the 90s, but obviously he changed drastically throughout the years to keep up with the times. Whereas Grant is still 98 Grant, just older, really. He hasn't really got anything new to it. So in a sense, it'd be like if they brought Den back. Den would have to be modernized in a sense, because you can't really do Dirty Den, because I feel like there was a lot less restrictions back then than there is now, and especially with how Dirty Den would be perceived now, would be vastly different to say how he was perceived at the time. Where even though I look up, well, I don't look up to him. That sounds wrong. I don't look up to him, even though I like his character. If he was brought in modern day, which I guess is Joel in a sense, to an extent, But if he was brought in modern day, people would unironically worship him because, again, oh, he's just a bad boy. Yeah, he's a misogynistic, but like, oh, look at him, that cute shirt. You know, it's just weird to compare like the times. But yeah, Nick would be my like go-to. Mary the Punk would be also another one, especially considering like how different times have changed. Like because punk was big in the 80s, and obviously then the 90s you have the grunge era and post grunge era, and then the 2000s you have the sort of hip hop and fucking rap era, and the 2010s I don't really know, and the 2020s I don't really know. I really know the 80s to 2000s. But yeah, but yeah, it would be interesting to see a modern day Mary the Punk. You technically can bring in a modern day Mary the Punk. She will be 41 or 42, but she does have a kid. We haven't really seen the kid though, so
Would she
yeah.
not be in her 50s? Like,
No, the kid will be 40.
oh, Mary's kid. Okay, I thought you said Mary would have been 40.
No. Mary would be in her like late 50s.
Yeah, yeah.
No. The kid would be in her early 40s, like because she was born in like late 84, early 85. Um, but yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I'll move on to the second comment. Is the Reg Cox whodunit satisfying as a storyline? And do you think modern audiences would okay, hold on, there's a read more section on this. Do you think modern audiences would accept a mystery that ends vaguely and only is fully revealed later? No, because we've changed drastically from 85 to 2025, and we've seen it play out with the 6, where people don't like a mystery. They don't like foreplay where they just tickle your balls for 12 months and then eventually let you come. They want you to immediately come, is the general audience. I know that's a very rude way of putting it, but modern audience...
They want immediate. They want to be gratified immediately.
Yes, they want to, because if you play it out, say you did Reg Cox nowadays, if you did his death nowadays, fans would be like, "Oh my god, it's December 1985. They just haven't revealed it. Oh my god, reveal it already." It's like, yeah, but the mystery is you have to know it's going to be good when they reveal it. You don't have to like get mad that they're not revealing it. I don't think a modern example would work. Like we've seen, the last one EastEnders did was obviously the 6, and technically what they're doing now with Max of like, who's Max's wife. The 6 was good at the start, but then it just became shit, and that was the huge problem with it. And with who's Max's wife, that's an interesting take, but it's not really fun because
It's not really enough to carry a year's worth of storyline.
yeah, and
And
I don't think I'll let you go in a second, but I don't think modern like people would accept like, because technically the Who Killed Reg Cox like storyline doesn't technically culminate until like 86, 87, because it's not really revealed who kills him until they're in prison with Den Watts, whatever that is.
yeah.
It's pretty obvious who it is. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I always say this about whodunits, and people are. It's been a while since I've had to do it because we haven't had too many whodunits. But one's just popped up in fucking Coronation Street, so good luck. But everybody loves the whodunit. Everybody loves the build. Nobody likes the aftermath, and that's generally it. Because it feels like at this point, whodunits kind of tend to go on a bit too long for what it is. To me, a whodunit is typically like a month or two long mystery, but not that much longer. Because if you cover it for that long, you are just complicit in what you fucking did. Like, it's kind of, yeah, sure, there's more to lose, but fundamentally, if you go that length to cover it up, you probably did some heinous shit anyways. So, it's why Who Shot Phil is probably the most iconic one, because I mean, it culminated in what, like a month or so. So it happened. It happened. We got the big explosive stuff. Then we had a month ago, and oh, who is it? Who is it? Then it's Lisa Fowler, and then you go, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's really good. So I think that's why. I think that's why people struggle with whodunits now. I think the lens and the scope have gotten way too large, and it's not fun. It's fun for a month. It's not fun for a year. Typically, that's my opinion on it. Is it satisfying the storyline? Not particularly. It's a good hook to get people invested, but equally, it's not really strong enough because we didn't know who Reg was. So therefore, we aren't really that compelled to see who it is, which to me is why it does generally fizzle out because the audience don't really care about Reg and they don't really care who did it. And even then, it's not like Nick does get sent to prison for it in a sense. It's just he doesn't get like locked away for good. So there is a conclusion. It isn't particularly satisfying, but I do think a lot of us would be quite like, what the fuck? Why have you done this? Why have you not told us the answer? But yeah, I don't know. So I don't think modern audiences would really accept it.
Yeah. I will move on to the other comment. Should modern EastEnders look back at what worked in 1985 rather than constantly going for bigger, larger than life storylines? For me, what 1985 gets right is that nearly every character feels relatable, like someone you've known in real life, which feels more grounded. So, I again, I
Yes
know,
and no.
yeah,
Yes and no. Essentially, I don't think you could establish many characters like they were established in the 80s that they will be established in 2026. You need a much bigger mystery. And I mean even then I mean Mary kind of gets what the introduction that everybody gets now. She kind of whirlwinds in, shows up with a baby, doesn't really make any friends real quickly, but kind of pisses a couple people off because she's a bit abrasive. And then it goes from there. That's kind of everybody's introduction these days. It was definitely a problem with the Chris Crenshaw era, where you introduce them with an edge, and then slowly you incorporate them more with the community, and then they apologize for their introduction, and then they move the fuck on. That's kind of how it goes. So I I definitely think there's something missing, but I just I think I think EastEnders has evolved, and like you look at Coronation Street for example, where it's murder, murder, murder. Oh, here's a death. Here's a whodunit. Like it's just it's a lot. It's inherently more surreal now than it was, but that's because they kind of know how the sausage is made now, where it's been around for so long, it survived through a lot of like rough times. So at the end of the day, I just I you couldn't I don't think you could put this out now. Like I don't think you could just say I'm going to put out 85 EastEnders now, for example. I don't think it would strike as hard because you can just watch 700 other TV shows that have a way more impactful, a way much larger kind of oh shit, somebody dies and it's a big mystery, and that's the only thing they do. I think it's trying to cover too many bases to really work with a modern audience. It's why soaps are kind of always a vested interest. They're not necessarily a no, people don't really have it as like just a small little hobby they do on the side. You're either fully in or you're fully out, in my opinion. So that's kind of that. I don't think it would really work because I feel like you do that for a character now, you just say they're boring. Like the Ian and Elaine feud. I feel like people like if you did that in '85, it'd probably fit right in. But you do it now and people complain that it's boring and it's shit and it's a waste of time. So yeah, just taste change, and it had to evolve with time.
yeah. I can't really add on to that. You've nailed it perfectly. Unless you want me to, but I can't.
That'll be right.
Fucking add on to it, you prick. Add on to it.
Don't, like, you don't have to, mate. It's okay.
No, I know. I was just making a joke. Just Ash is not like that. He's not actually like that, guys. Okay, he's actually a big cuddly bear. He is Tony Carpenter in real life.
Wouldn't say I'm very cuddly.
He's cuddly, but you have to social distance cuddle them. You have to. There has to be a barrier, like a curtain, like Michelle and fucking like Michelle and Blue.
Nobody fucking touch me.
That is how every conversation with Ash goes. Yeah, I will high five you, but don't fucking touch me. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, continuing on. Who are your standout characters so far? And who do you think isn't working as well? Like, I can't really tell you who isn't working because there's only been 4 episodes.
Saeed, Sue, um, Saeed, Sue. It's got to be another one. I like Ali in a sense, but I understand why he doesn't last that long. Because, I mean, he just is very clear. He just has very clear kind of. You kind of know where Ali's going to end up, and it's probably in a fucking drunken gamble, like debt-ridden fucking gutter. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of. So I think Sharon. There we are. Sharon, Ali, and Saeed. I think those are the ones. Those for me don't work out very well. Obviously we know where Sharon goes, and yeah, sure she does become great. But at, as a teenager, they did a good job at portraying that she is, the spoiled. We're going to spoil you because our marriage is shit, and we take it out on you. But we're just going to buy your silence and hope that you turn out well. I get that they do play that well, but it does make Sharon fucking miserable to have to sit through. That's my biggest one, personally.
Yeah, I can't really tell you what isn't working well. Again, we've only watched 4 episodes. But Saeed, I guess, would be one who isn't working. Detective, um, Detective Moneybags.
Obviously, the real answer is Arthur Fowler. He can't get a job to save his life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Detective Rich is his name. I don't know why I call him Detective Moneybags.
Terry Rich.
Terry Rich. That's the name of Hulk Hogan. But who is working well? Oh, Nick. Nick Cotton is working absolutely tremendously.
Ooh,
What?
I have. Sorry, just to cut it in. My one very controversial take on like 85, and obviously we don't see Dot just yet. Dot in 85 is fucking weird, and doesn't work at all in my opinion. She gets a lot of the characteristics everybody loves later on, but like hypochondriac, fucking work shy, constantly complaining Dot, who will never say a bad word about Nick. She's weird at the start. That's my hot take about 85. Dot Cotton does not work at this time.
But who is working? Nick Cotton is working. Ali and Sue are working. Dan obviously are working. Lou and Ethel as well are just some of the examples that I am enjoying about this. And Tony, I can't forget about Big Dick Tony. I can't forget about him.
Yeah, obviously my favourites, no surprise, Lou Beale, Ethel. I love Angie like wholeheartedly. Um, I suppose Pete is one who I don't really think works out too well either personally, but I kind of we've given enough characters. But yeah, obviously Willie the Pug, Prince of Darkness, Lou Beale, Ethel, love Tony, love Angie. There we are.
Um, has seeing the very start of certain characters' journey changed your opinion on them? I find that watching from 1985 can make you more sympathetic towards characters who are harder to support in modern times. Ian Beale is a good example. Well, I mean, it's. I feel like it works well, especially considering again as we ragged on. Well, I ragged on. Den Watts. It is more. You feel. You kind of understand the direction they later go with him because they kind of just look at his. I know they probably didn't do research, but they definitely did do research. But you can tell they definitely looked at 85 to 89. I want to say Dan Watts and went, "We're going to turn this, this, and this up to 10," and it does make me feel more sympathetic because I do actually like Dan. Again, Sharon. I understand now why Sharon is like what's the word I'm looking for? Like sad and not well alone, and why she goes for different men because she just wants to find comfort. Is how I put it. I don't really know how to put it, but I do feel
No,
sympathetic.
no, it's how it goes. To be honest.
Um, you can see why she does go for men because her actual life with her father and
I mean,
mother.
she doesn't know what a healthy relationship is.
No, because she's been brought up in a household where Angie's like, fuck me, Den. Literally, fuck me, Den. And Den's like, Jan? Jan? Are you on the phone there, Jan? Jan? You there? Sorry, Ange, gotta go. Jan's got a leaky pipe. So it is funny to see the comparisons, like, because you look at Sharon in '85, where she is an annoying brat, but you understand why her entire
Yeah.
life is fucked. Because again, like I said, Angie is literally like, Dan, give me affection, please, please, Dan, just give me it. And Dan's like, no, fuck off. Um, Technically, Mark Fowler as well. I know he's not around anymore. He's been dead for 20 years on the show. But I do feel sympathetic towards Mark Fowler Jr. because, especially the original actor, it's a very different lens. Like, he was supposed to be around a lot longer, but obviously he's not here for a long while. He's gone in the next couple of weeks or months. And I can't wait to like cover his arc basically and his brief returns. Um, but that's what I want to say. Any ones you have?
Pauline. I think Pauline's really kind of Pauline. Like I said, I know she's technically not modern because her death is what 20 years ago. But I still think that it's the humble beginnings from where it started, and that's why I kind of love Pauline. And I don't even I've not even watched much Pauline since what I watched a bunch of Sonia and Martin years ago. So like I don't even watch Pauline regularly, but I do just kind of love her because I love how she was initially portrayed and how the family was initially set up. Um, I kind of like Ian, but Ian is still a weasel at this point in time. It's interesting to see the angles they go, like when he starts being a boxer because he wants to make Pete feel proud, and then they just go do a full 180 and go, no, 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 he was always a weasel. He was never a boxer.
Um,
um, but opinions on them, yeah, Sharon's the best one, really. Sharon is the best one. And unfortunately, we can't really take many characters who are here from the 80s who are still here in like modern times. Like you have Sharon, you have Kathy, you have Ian, and that's it really. Like Michelle, always. I mean, just watching Michelle in this era, she's a fucking star, just 100%. And it's such a shame that she's never really intended to come back, and they've never really addressed it because Susan Tully just did such a good job. But yeah, like there's a ton of like I get that Ian is starting to become a little personality wise, he's starting to become a little bit grotesque in a way. But he is kind of becoming Pete in a different way. So it's kind of funny to see how time changes. But yeah, it's mostly Sharon. It's
uh,
mostly Sharon.
we have two more comments, and they're from the reactions. Obviously, the reactions come out from members. And just to read out SD Cricket fans' comment, I will pull up on screen now. They say justice for Reg. Yeah, justice for Reg.
But Reg Cox.
Uh, Luke
Someone
the
is doing some fucking self-flagellation.
Luke the Ultimate Whovian again comments, "This is brilliant. So many great characters were created from the very start of the program. Dan, Angie, Arthur. Fucking said his name about 50 times. Pauline, Lou, Ethel, Kathy, Pete, Michelle, and Ian. They all hit the ground running. Anna Wing was much older than you think. She almost reached 100. Imagine what she could have had if she had been brave enough to stay on longer. In my alternate timeline, I picture her dying mid to late 90s to coincide with Michelle's original exit, or even in the early 2000s. How Pete and
Yeah, Michelle was one. I mean, Lou was one of those. Anna Wing was one of the actors who, when she heard the rumblings that maybe they were going to change from Tony and Julia, they kind of went, "Oh, I don't really know what it's going to be like in the '90s, and do we really trust anyone else?" Like they built up that kind of deep loyalty, and they all kind of went, "Yeah, is EastEnders even around in 10 years?" You know, that kind of thing. So she kind of, as far as I remember seeing, she did kind of regret leaving when she did because, I mean, let's be real. You go, "Oh, I could have been around for way longer. I could have been around for fucking years." Um, so I think she was one person who regretted leaving when she did because I mean, not to fully give it away, but I mean, she doesn't make it to the '90s. That's all that's all spoiler I'll give. But yeah, she was definitely one of those characters who went, yeah, probably should have just shut the fuck up and kept getting paid.
But continuing on, how Kathy and Pete, how Pete and how Pete and Kathy are rich to me is confused. It's very are rich is very confusing to me. Yeah. I love how absolutely pissed up Arthur gets. Obviously, implying when Arthur
He's
gets.
giddy as fuck, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a giggly drunk.
Also love the fact that the house is so crowded that Michelle, or as we say, Michelle, has to share a room with Pauline and Arthur, only separated by a curtain. No wonder she knew Pauline was having a baby. Oh,
Isn't she sharing a room with Lou? I'm
I,
pretty sure,
I don't know. But
but it could be wrong.
imagine you're like trying to sleep in the next room. You hear your fucking dad giving absolute back shots to your mother. Jesus, just to ruin it for everyone. I know they're having their lunch now. And the scene with Mark just asking for the toilet roll buckles me every single time. I need a shit. Where's the toilet roll? Anyone got toilet roll? Another scene I love as well is when Ethel comes into the fake after Reg is found, and she's going on as she knows all the facts, but then counteracts everything she says, and then finishes with, "Oh, other than that, you're spot on as usual, Ethel." Yeah.
Look, you have to give her some encouragement, like otherwise she'll just not talk to you, and I feel like that would be more scary than not.
And now I know Ashley's getting sleepy, and I know we have a stream afterwards, but
I'm fine, mate. I'm fine.
to
I don't know
move
why
on.
you're scapegoating me.
Okay.
Look at him, that fucking bit. Oh, Jesus, your microphone cut really dodgy there. But yeah, it's kind of a. I'm getting scapegoated. Little baby's getting a bit sad now. I'm fine. What's he on about?
I'm back. Now it's time for the members shout out.
I suppose, obviously, one thing I just want to say, if you enjoyed that segment, obviously you can join in if you leave comments down below. Predominantly members only, but if you do have a comment interesting enough, we will likely read it. So, as I said, it's a fun way for you guys to feel like you have your say about this stuff because, a lot of people said, "Oh, it'd be exciting to watch it back with you." So, therefore, isn't it a cool thing to just give out your thoughts and have them aired out publicly? So, if you want to do that, obviously leave all the comments. It's a bit of a weird time when we get these recorded because we don't necessarily have a set day we're doing it. We're kind of just doing it based on vibes, just like, oh, you feeling it? Yeah, fuck it, go on then. Trying to not make it a routine and make it really kind of, all right, Tuesday, 10 o'clock, record the Whodunit record the classic podcast, even if you're not feeling it. So just typically typically you have the weekend to react to it. This goes out on Thursday, so typically you should be able to get your comments in over the weekend and have them aired in the next podcast. So thank you to Luke, thank you to SD Cricket Fan, and thank you to everyone who has given us kind, positive words about starting the classic podcast.
And now it's time for the members shout out. So we have. Let me switch the camera to me. So on the fans level, we have Luca, X6, X2, X6, and we have Stephen, Griffiths 4894, and we have Ollie Kingston. Please tell me you're related to Eddie Kingston. I would love that. 7530. And for watchers, we have Luke the Ultimate Hoovian, Supreme Sobriety and Solace, Dizzy Flora, SD Cricket Fan, and the Rivets. So there we go. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. That was the members.
I suppose just want to shout as well, the Rivets, they've been a watcher for the last year, nearly 11 months deep. So thank you for your continued support.
Thank you indeed.
And yeah, thanks everybody who become members. It's something we basically soft launched it in December, and we've gotten way more than we thought we were going to get, and it feels. I don't know about you, but it gives me a real sense of satisfaction because we release a bunch of the content early for members. I do love looking at the channel and then seeing 5 views and 2 comments from the members, and I'm like, yeah, we still got it. We still got it. People are still enjoying our stuff. So yeah, and equally, just to plug being a member, what, £2 a month or £4.99 a month, you get to see early access content, and you know, a bunch of the podcasts, like this podcast is probably getting released. This podcast is getting released a week after the first one, but for the members, you guys are getting this a week early, so it's pretty good. You get some cool perks. You get a bunch of the videos pretty regularly. So, oh, the microphone's cut out. Piggy censored himself. Well, it doesn't help. He also just goes, "Hello." Is he gonna talk into the microphone? Is he?
I will say I'm probably going to upload this podcast and release it straight away for members. So
I'm not.
we fucking are. We're having this.
The members can get it on Thursday.
Yeah, but only if we want to record a second 1985 podcast this week, we've no comments.
Probably not happening.
You're fired. And then I said to him, "You're fired. Get fucked."
The one thing that is mental with just the comments as well. And if you do actually want the podcast to be longer, obviously leaving a bunch of comments is the way to do it, because fucking this podcast is going to be short. And then we read all of Luke's comments, and now it's fucking half an hour longer than the first one. But also, you know, once again, thank you to Luke and thank you to Ashley Cricket Fan for both. I mean, those comments are really, really engaging. Like, you can tell that Luke really does like 1985 and has really gotten into it. So it's a very cool way to kind of show your passion.
Yeah, I do agree. I appreciate everyone who commented and who continues to comment. I can't wait to see some other people's comments on the first episode on Thursday, if we get any, that is. Why is my mouse loading something? What is it trying to load? Fuck off, Epic. Fucking Epic saying, give the game. But yeah, it's nice that you comment on this. It's nice that we get all of this. I appreciate the support. I appreciate everything that you all do for us. And again, if you have any comments you want us to read out, well, me read out, because if Ash reads it out, it will actually be done in a minute. But if I read them out, it'll be done in 20 minutes. So I think I know which one's sticking around for the ad revenue. You know, I think it's me. But yeah, if you have any other comments you want us to read, let us know down below. But it's sad to say, boys, the bar is closing. We're closing for the night. We're going to be doing a lot of it, but when this goes out, you would have seen our live streams that we did for the 41st anniversary. But you've obviously gone back to the start, and you're here for the second week of 1985, and I'm glad you are here with us for the journey. So we will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.